Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to a soulful morning. Welcome to our deep inner world of healing, of love, of light. Let's close our eyes, center, balance, align ourselves. We're taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's fill ourselves with a deep breath in with a lot of healing energy. And as we exhale out, a deep breath out, releasing all fear, all doubt, all negativity. And the last time for this morning, we took a deep breath in with so much of positivity at the golden healing light. And as you exhale, release the pent-up darkness inside. And now, I request everybody to invoke the healer in them and see yourselves seated on the floor, on Magaya, on green grass. Such beautiful carpeted green grass. When you sit, it doesn't poke you, but it's so soft to the touch. It's like you're sunk in that. So beautiful, so soft, so comforting. And all of us together, I'm sitting in a circular fashion. And in between us, Sunila Agarwal, female 45 from Pune, who's right now in Ruby Hospital, is lying down between us. In the center. And we can see machinery on her head, bandage on her head, and her body is battling. But all of us who are the soul family know that the soul inside is still wondering whether its purpose is over on Mother Earth or whether it wants to extend. So let's all request our own higher self, our own soul, to connect, to have a conversation with Sunaina's soul, and to tell her that you may think your journey on Mother Earth can come to a halt, but it can't. When you came on Mother Earth, you came with the purpose. You may be in alignment with the purpose, you may not be. But you're blessed on this Mother Earth with an absolutely beautiful family. The children are so young, they need you to take care of them, to grow them, to nurture them with love, with light. You have a husband who dotes on you. You're blessed with a beautiful body. Half the people in the world are struggling to get a beautiful body. You already are blessed with it. You're blessed with a beautiful heart. And you have to live in this life as Sunaina. Because you cannot make your parents so much more traumatized. You've already lost your brother 6 years ago. And the parents can't take another blow. You can't traumatize your husband. You can't traumatize your children by leaving Mother Earth so early. And what about your friends? What about your extended family? Let's all convince the soul. Our souls are convincing the soul of Sunaina that your purpose is still not over. And whatever it is that you want to achieve to further your journey as a soul, you can do it in this very life. It's a rebirth any which way. So if even if you leave this body and take a rebirth again after some years, why not do what you meant to do now with this body, with this life? One part of you can cover all the responsibilities as a human, as a parent, as a wife, as a family member, as a daughter-in-law, sister, whoever. And the other can do what you have decided at soul level. And let's all invoke the power, the blessings of the masters, angel, guardians, guides of all of us here gathered in this circle and those of Sunaina. Let this powerful light being group connect, correspond, talk, hash it out, find a strategy. Yes, we are given so many knocks and shocks of life to learn lessons. Yes, we agree the lesson may not have been learned. But then you, the masters, teach us that escapism is not a route, is not a way out, that we must face our battles right here, right now. So let us battle and face it. Let's give the strength to Surena to face it. Dear soul, it's not your exit plan. Yes, you have lived many lives. Yes, you will live many lives. But let's make this life worthwhile. You will be supported by your masters, your guardians, our masters, our guardians, because we all gathered together at the soul level, at the consciousness level. And ascension can take place right here, right now. Whatever you want, soul at the soul level, you can infuse those qualities in Sunena, the living being right now. We all realize that souls are eternal. We all realize that souls are never bad, that souls always mean well. So if you mean well, how can you leave so many loved ones behind, grieving for you? You aren't alone in this world. You've been a daughter. You've been a daughter-in-law. You're married. You're a wife. And above all, a mother. Ma Gaya right now is serving all us healers by comforting us with her beautiful being. You as a mother have to comfort your little beings, the ones you have given love and light to give birth to. Let's all now invoke this channel of the pillar of light in us. So imagine in the human form of ours, golden healing light is coming from the top into the crown chakra, traveling down the third eye chakra, further making its way in the throat chakra, in the heart, in the stomach, solar plexus above the nabi, being brightly lit in the sacral chakra, and lastly the root chakra. See this pillar of light all bright, all the chakras in our body are activated. And now 18 inches above our crown chakra, see the soul star chakra activated. With the power of these 8 chakras, so all of us are 8 chakras activated. And now with our power, let's keep our hands on our heart and energize our hands with the power of our heart chakra, which is so brightly lit, which feels compassion, empathy, love for this girl who's lying down in the center of all of us. Most of us don't even know her. But we feel compassion, we feel empathy, and these are the strongest. We feel so much of love, and we're ready to share our light so that one family can heal because of maybe our blessings, maybe our love. As we all have now ignited the pillar of light in us, and love, and compassion, and empathy, and kindness, and loving kindness, and oneness, we now expand our hands to Sunaina, blessing her. So all of us see all our hands blessing her. We've created a beautiful circle of light and blessings. And our blessings are so strong, they're creating a golden aura around her body. And let's see all of her chakras getting activated. Our blessings are reaching us on all the damage done by the brain stroke, by the brain hemorrhage. It's just getting removed. Everything's becoming smoother, straighter. There's a healing happening at the profound level. We can see it happening. All the excess leakage, all the clots, all the stoppage of movement, all the nadis which were blocked are now moving. The Ida, Pingla, Sushmna Nadi, all are flowing. And we see the golden healing light completely going around her in circles. And Ma Prithvi, Mother Gaia, with her beautiful green bed carpeted grass, is healing Sunana from the bottom. She's also giving us all energy, grounding us, rooting us. The more energy we give to Sunana, the more energy we get from Mother Earth, because she's just there to give us love and light. See yourselves become powerful healers who are emitting this bright light on this beautiful girl who's lying down. The divine feminine in all of us is now igniting. It doesn't matter whether we're a man or a woman. The divine feminine is igniting in us, and we are blessing this beautiful soul, this beautiful body with health, with love, with empathy, with compassion, with strength to get out of this phase. It's just a phase, it'll go. This too shall pass, Sunena. You have the strength in you to get up, to rise and shine for your family, for your loved ones. They need you. And see the lights go bright in all our chakras. If you feel you've healed enough, you can fold your hands and put your hands close to your heart. And thank the lighted masters, the light beings, for giving us all an opportunity to heal somebody with love, with compassion, with loving kindness. And those of you who wish to continue to heal, remember, it's a thought that matters. If that's the energy you are giving throughout the day, throughout the time till Sunena wakes up, you will keep giving her energy, and Ma Prithvi, Ma Gaia will keep giving you energy. And your golden aura is getting stronger and stronger because you have done something today unknowingly, I mean, without knowing the person, but just with one thought of love, light, healing. And I thank you all for joining the sacred circle of healing for my loved one. Atma Namaste to all of you. Now rub your hands together and bless your entire body, because you have also been healed at so many levels that you have no idea. So touch your entire body first, the front side, every single nook and corner of it, every inch by inch. Bless your entire being. If there are any aches and pains that you may have had, you'll realize by the end of the day, they'll all have gone. Because love, empathy, and kindness are so strong that when we invoke them and we heal somebody else without our personal selfishness, everything just vanishes, just vanishes. And any part of your body which is hurting more, Touch it a bit more because you're fully energized with Ma Prithvi and universe's healing. And this image that we just visualize, all of us, let this be a part of our consciousness. And whenever you're free and you think it's time that you want to heal, ignite yourself back again because all of us will be seated in the same circle till the time our purpose is done. And thank you for setting the intention of seeing this girl come to light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and we shall start this beautiful, we shall continue reading this beautiful book. Same souls, many bodies. Today, let's see what wonderful lesson are we going to learn. Chapter number 12, we're going to be reading a story about David, about his healing, about his progression, his regression, and his spirituality. And it's so beautiful that we all have been healing Surena in this lovely time, and spirituality is what we're all feeling. Spirit's actual reality, where we allowed our spirits to have a conversation with Surena's spirit. Really beautiful. And realized that what's its actual reality, and that's spirituality. When I was a young boy, I would go to the temple with my father on Saturday morning and watch the old men sway and rock, even as they recited their prayers. These were always the same prayers my father told me, said throughout the day, morning, sundown, and night. I didn't understand the language of the prayers, Hebrew, but more fundamentally, I could understand the reason for them. It doesn't make sense, I thought. The words can't continue to have meaning after so many years, and by this time, by the swaying and bowing can't be more than physical exercise. After Catherine understood, the men were putting themselves in an altered state, just as I put patients under hypnosis. I don't think it mattered when the content of the words were. It was a ritual that mattered. The men were making connection with God, and the ritual, as with all religious rituals, no matter what the religion, enabled them to become more spiritual. Whether one is Jewish, Christian, Islamic, the object is the same, to come closer to the supreme spiritual being, and by doing so, to become closer to pure spirituality itself. To me, being spiritual means to be more compassionate, caring, and kind. It means just reaching out to people with a loving heart without expecting anything in return. It means acknowledging something greater than oneself, a force that exists in an unknown realm that we must strive to discover. It means understanding that there are higher lessons to be learned, and after we have learned them, knowing that there's higher lessons still. The capacity for spirituality is in each of us, and we must tap into it. I've seen religious people committing acts of violence and inciting others to act acts of war. Kill, they say, for those you attack do not share our beliefs, and thus they are enemies. These people have learned the lesson that there is but one universe, one soul. To me, the attitude is completely unspiritual, no matter what the religious espouses. Indeed, it marks the difference between the religion and spirituality. You do not need religion to be spiritual. You can be an atheist and still be kind and compassionate. You can do volunteer work, for example, not because God commands you, but because doing it makes you feel good. And you think this is the way human beings should act towards one another. And that this is the way to progress towards a higher realm. My conception of God is of a loving, wise energy that is in every cell of our bodies. I do not see him as a standard cliche of a man with a beard sitting on a cloud making judgments. In psychoanalytical terms, this is projection, the anthropomorphizing of God. The important question regarding spirituality is not which God you follow, but are you true to your soul? Are you living a spiritual life? Are you a kind person here on earth, getting joy from your existence, causing no harm, and doing good to others? This is the essence of life, essential to our journey upward, and it doesn't seem complicated, but too many of us haven't yet mastered these lessons of spirituality. We are selfish, materialistic, and lacking in empathy and compassion. Our urge to do good is subsumed by a desire to be physically comfortable. And as goodness and selfishness battle within us, we become confused and unhappy. This is the way it was with David, as you'll see. David's family was patrician from old New England stock, and he had come all the way from Boston to see me. He had heard of the work I was doing and had found one of my regression CDs helpful in relaxing him. Though he had not experienced. Madhuri, you can't hear me. Others, can you hear me? If yes, please put on the chat box. I think it's not with the voice, it's probably with the computer system. Jyoti can hear Baba. So Madhuri, just check your system. Maybe log off and log in. Sometimes it works. Pratima ji also says yes, she can hear. So yes, so can Sonia. So just look into your system. Just go off the session and join again. The recording will anyways be shared. So whatever you've missed, you can cover up. I'm going to continue the session. So I'm going to repeat this. David's family was patrician from old New England stock, and he had come all the way from Boston to see me. He had heard of the work I was doing and had found one of my regression CDs helpful in relaxing him, though he had not experienced a past life. Besides, he had tried conventional psychotherapy and it had done him little good. I have planned to stay a week. Can we accomplish anything in that time? We can try, I replied, noting the impeccable cut of his trousers and the polo pony insignia on his t-shirt. On his shirt. I can schedule you for 3 sessions, but we can't do anything until you tell me what brought you here. To my surprise, the question seemed to puzzle him. I'm not sure, he said at last. I'm unhappy. Professionally, personally. Both, neither. Which? The point is, I shouldn't be unhappy. Unhappiness isn't a matter of should, it's a state of mind. Yes, of course, only when I think about my life, which is far more frequently than I'd wish, I can't see a single thing to be unhappy about. Your profession? I asked. Attorney. I work in my father's firm. I've been doing well, made partner in 2 years, and if I say so myself, it wasn't because of nepotism. Still, there's often friction when a son works for a parent. Do you find it uncomfortable being accountable to your father? Not at all, he said empathetically, punctuating his words with a little clap of his hands. My father lets me operate independently. He brought me up to be my own man, and so did my mother. He never second guesses me and hardly ever sees me in the office. I think spend more time with him socially than I do at work. When psychiatrists begin to search for the root of patients' problems, they often look at the family first. Was some unconscious dynamic at work here that David did not recognize? I probed further. Is your mother alive and kicking? He smiled. She's on the board of the opera, the ballet, the Museum of Fine Arts, and she's a great hostess. He raised her hand, anticipating my question. And yes, she had plenty of time for me when I was a kid, and plenty of time for my brother and sister too. We have a great relationship. You said you see your father socially. And my mother too, of course. Theirs has been a solid marriage for 40 years. How often? Maybe once a week, more like 3 times a month. You married? Absolutely, to the divine Leslie. Was he being ironic? She's also a lawyer. No, but she's an allied profession. She's an actress. I met her in her second year at Harvard Law, went to a performance of The Winter's Tale at the Brattle Street Theatre, and was so knocked out by her peditor that I went backstage and asked her out. It's to my everlasting good fortune that she said yes, and yes, when I asked her to marry me 5 years ago. Did your parents approve? Boston's Skyen weds lowly actress? I don't know how they felt at first. As I said, they let me make my own life choices, but by now they adore her. Any children? None. But that wouldn't be true in another 5 months. Amniocentesis says it's a boy, voila. The line continues, the name carries on. He told me all this with a sense of pleasure, even of fun. Now he leaned forward and his expression darkened. Dr. Wise, that's just the point. I love my parents, had a wonderful childhood, have a spectacular wife. I'm well educated, well fed, well clothed, and housed. We have enough money to stave off any disaster or to take us anywhere on the planet we want to go. I'm truly the man without a care in the world. Yet when I think these things, and even though I know they're true, there's a fundamental problem. The man I've just described isn't the man living inside my skin. The last was accompanied by a sob and a look of anguish too so intense that I actually thought I was facing a different man. Can you be more specific? I asked. He recovered with an effort I wish I could be. When I tried to put into words how I feel, it sounds like whining, the paltry complaints of an overprivileged narcissist. It doesn't matter how it sounds. And obviously, the complaints aren't paltry, you are in pain. He gave me a look of gratitude and took a deep breath. Okay, here it goes. I don't know why I was put on this earth. I feel as if I'm skating off on a frozen pond called life, and that underneath the water is 100 feet deep. I don't know. I know I should swim in it, that it'd be good if I could experience it, but I don't know how to break through the ice. I'm confused about my place in the world. Yes, I'm happy working for my father, and that's only one definition of me, my father's son. I'm more. I'm more than another definition. Good husband about to become father, good father Jesus. He went on, the words startlingly loud in my office. I'm bloody invisible. Life just whistles through me like wind. His needs for answers ran deep. Rather than whiny, his complaints were existential. A cry for definition he had not been to find. Perhaps he had been looking in the wrong place. David told me that when he used my CDs at home, he generally got so relaxed that he fell asleep. There's nothing wrong with that. It simply means the person is going too deep. But his earlier practice made the hypnotic induction in my office easier. Within minutes, he was in a deep trance. In the 12th century, he said slowly, as though trying to peer into his life from the outside. I'm a nun, Sister Eugene, and I work at a hospital on the outskirts of Paris. She shuddered. It's a dreadful place, dark and cold, and my life is hard. All the beds are filled in the room where I work, and I know there are others waiting outside for someone to die so that they can have the space. The patients' bodies are covered with blisters, blisters filled with liquid. The smell is awful. Even in the cold, these poor people run high to fevers. They sweat and groan. Their torment is terrible to see. I don't mind working there. One of the patients is an 11-year-old, an orphan, eyes bright with fever, lips parched, face wrinkled like a monkey's. We both know she's going to die, that there's nothing I can do for her. Nevertheless, her spirits are good. She's able to make jokes, and the other patients love her. I love her most of all, and I bring her water and wash her brow. I do this for everyone with a special tenderness. On the day she dies, she looks up at me and says, you came into my life and brought me peace. You made me happy. Happy? Can you imagine that? This poor girl in agony says she is happy because of me. I'm not sure of the reason, but I redouble my efforts for the other patients, hoping I can bring the same happiness or at least some peace to them as well. And it works. I know my presence soothes them and bonds form between them, spiritual bonds, though none of them as strong as between me and the orphan girl. His face reflected his own inner peace as he spoke. His voice was gentle, awed, aware of miracles. Eventually, I too succumbed to the disease. The pain was excruciating, but although my body suffered, my mind and soul were blissful. I knew I had led a useful life, and that was God's plan for me. When I die, my soul flows upward towards the God who had sustained me. I'm enveloped in a golden light and feel renewed by His grace. Angelic beings arrive to escort me, greeting me with applause and heavenly songs. On earth, I have risked my own life to help others with no thought of material gain. This was my reward, more valuable than a king's treasure, more precious than emeralds. Just reading this makes you feel so powerful, right? If we start doing what this nurse Eugene is doing, would life becomes so magical, so beautiful. I get the same sense when I kind of read books and help others without any gains. It just feels so good. So thank you everybody for sharing this space. It made me just smile. They give me knowledge, and in exchange, I give them boundless love. Through them, I understand that helping others is the highest good, and you can imagine my joy when they tell me that I had achieved that. The length of one's life is not important, they say. The number of days and years one lives on earth is insignificant. It's a quality of those days and years that's important, quality measured in loving acts and achieved wisdom. Some people do more good in one day than others do in 100 years. This is the message. Every soul, every person is precious. Every person helped, every life aided or saved is immeasurably valuable. Each soul I tended to in the hospital belonged to those whose bodies had perished before mine. Send me their blessings and their love compounding my joy. Wow. David paused. An incredibly beautiful being differentiates itself from the chorus of angels. It seems to be made of light, he continued, though it had a distinctively human form and wears purple robes and golden shoes. Its voice, not distinguishable as a man or a woman's, has authority of great wisdom. When I led him back to the present, he was still under the power of his vision, still filled with awe and enlightenment. Let's call that being the source. Because it is obvious that the lessons the angels taught me were taught to them by it. When you need aid, you can invoke it through meditation and prayer whenever you need in my incarnation. The source instructed me directly. An open and loving heart seeking a higher good without selfish motive, without any shadow of negativity or harm, can invoke a powerful manifesting energy in order to accomplish its goals. This is our right as spiritual entities. This is an essence of our spirituality. This is the invocation of grace. So, again, I request everybody firstly, thank you for healing Surena. Secondly, tomorrow we can practice this. This is something very new to me. I've read the book, but I just don't remember. But things come to us at the right time, right? So all of us can invoke that purple robed higher wisdom which wears the golden shoes. Because all of us have an open and loving heart, and we're all seeking the highest good without any selfish motive, without any shadow of negativity. I still am selfish because she is my co-sister. She is my first cousin co-sister. So for me, it still matters. But all of you are with me in empathy, in compassion, in loving kindness. And that is definitely worthy of the invocation of grace. So it'll be so beautiful. We all are with blessings, right? He shook his head in wonder. I've never had such thoughts in my life. I'm not religious, don't believe in God, and don't have the foggiest of ideas what part of me the source came from. The idea that I was once a nun, it seems preposterous. It was a life you lived, I said, surely an important one, since you got to it so quickly and it was so vivid. It couldn't have been a fantasy, he agreed. It's too remote from anything I've imagined in the past. So you think it's real? Wow, I won't go that far. But I'll tell you this, Dr. Weiss, it was the most amazingly moving experience I can remember. Maybe Sister Eugenie is the person inside your skin. Maybe she's the David you're looking for. I thought for a moment we'll have to see, won't we? The session was over. He stood and then clapped his hand. What's next? When he came back 2 days later, he told me that the past life had stayed in his mind from the moment he left, and he felt he had experienced a kind of epiphany. He was very curious now about the next, and he virtually flung himself into the chair. Within minutes, he was transported back some 140 years to the American Civil War. This time, he stayed outside his vision, although he saw it clearly. He was a young man on the Union side, an infantry soldier who spent his days either marching or fighting. It's battle after battle, he said, each one worse than the last. I'm afraid to make friends because I'm sure they'll be killed or wounded. That's what happens to all of them, mutilated or killed. The men we are fighting, they're not our enemies, they're our brothers. The only reason we shoot at them is so that they won't shoot at us first. I try to save as many of my comrades as I can, help them find shelter or give them food or water. I do the same for our enemies when it's possible. He cast his eyes down as though trying not to see. It's all so senseless and sad. It's impossible to tell victory from defeat, brother killing brother interminably. Over what? An acre, a stream, an area, an idea? He seemed suddenly sad and old. I didn't survive the war either. I just gave up and let myself be killed by walking into the battle from behind a tree. I didn't have the energy to fight or the stomach to kill anyone. It was a kind of assisted suicide. He sighed resignedly. Wars, epidemic, earthquakes, all of nature's disasters or man's calamities that kill hundreds or thousands. The cost is incalculable. His tone became confidential. Some which seem unavoidable are really not. They can be mitigated by our own consciousness, by our collective thoughts and intentions. The others which seem avoidable only require the will to prevent them. He was talking about saving life by preventing violence, but did he mean that natural disasters could be prevented by the use of human will? I wasn't sure. And David, when he returned to the present, didn't know either. Perhaps future regressions would help him explain. Before he left on this day, David glimpsed some scenes of a past life in China many centuries ago. He could not pinpoint the year. As soon as he arrived in that life, his body began to shake, and I asked him if he wanted to come back. No, he said quickly, I'm not frightened or sick. Besides, I'm just watching. I'm an 11-year-old boy. My body is shaking because the ground is shaking. It's an earthquake. My family is rich. They built the strongest house possible, but it can't stand against nature's force. The walls are crumbling. I hear the screams of my parents, of my brother and my sister. Frantic, I race to help them. But it's too late. My little sister is barely alive. I hold her in my arms until she dies. I run to another room. It does no good. The walls collapse and I die with the rest of them. Almost as soon as David entered that life that he left it, he had come simply for the lessons it offered him. My life was short and happy, he observed when he was once again in the present. Buildings weren't flimsy, they couldn't resist the tremors. In that time, the devastation couldn't have been avoided, not with the level of knowledge of awareness then. But now we have the knowledge and still people die. It's infuriating. We continue to build flimsy structures in dangerous areas with little planning and preparation. And I'm not talking about only third world countries, I'm talking about America too. It's not the lack of money that's stopping us, but the lack of value placed on human life. We'd rather sacrifice people than spend money that we have. Simple safety measures could avoid pain, hurt, death. Each life is so important, so special, and yet thousands are sacrificed, usually for greed. When will we learn? He sighed. I had no answer, though I had been thinking the same thing for years. Perhaps when we are all as enlightened as David. Perhaps when we realize that when one person dies, it's part of our own process of dying. All lives, our souls are connected. When David came back for his final session, we visited two additional past lives. Again, the theme in his previous regressions manifested itself, and he was able to articulate it. There's supreme value in helping others because each life, each physical manifestation of the soul's journey is absolutely precious. In the first past life that day, he was a doctor in the Roman Empire during what appeared to him to be an outbreak of the plague. He saw himself wrapping bandages around the legs of his patients, not because of their wounds, but because the bandages could ward off fleas, which he deduced came from infected rats and carries the hideous disease to humans. He wanted everyone to stay away from all rats, particularly dead ones. The fleas would leave the corpses and to keep themselves clean and indoors as much as possible. He saved many lives, but the epidemic raged on in the areas where his advice was not known or not followed. Miraculously, he did not contract the disease himself, but lived on to fight other illnesses as a revered and respected physician. His next past life was strongly linked both to his life in Roman Empire and to the lifetime in France when he was a nun ministering to smallpox victims. Once more, he was in Middle Ages at a somewhat earlier time, and again disease was rampant. A plague that affected most of Europe, he worked frantically ministering to the overwhelming number of victims in the city where he lived. It might have been London, he wasn't sure. But his efforts were feeble against the pandemic. More than half of citizens of the city died, as did his entire family. Exhausted by his struggles, he became despairing and bitter, and filled with guilt and remorse that he had failed to so often. He could see ahead of that lifetime, telling me that he lived another 10 years, but he never really forgave himself. Why were you so harsh with yourself? There was nothing you could do, I asked. Because I forgot about the bandages, he said from his superconscious state floating above his middle aged body. They could have kept away the fleas. I was astonished. He had brought memories of an earlier past life into the Middle Ages. It was an indication of how closely his lives were linked and how all our past lives stay with us as we progress. Few people in the Middle Ages had the Roman knowledge that fleas from infected rats spread the disease, but he felt he should have tapped into what he had learned in Rome and averted at least some of the deaths, perhaps saving his family as well. He spoke again, still back with his medieval body. I'll make you this promise. In all my future incarnations, I'll protect and save as many people as I can. I know there is no death. I know we are all immortal. I'll do what I can to ease the pain of the victims and survivors to allow the soul's lesson to progress unimpeded. He has kept his promise, I thought, in all but this life. What change would the memories inspire now? Would he find his true core as a healer? We were both silent. I wondered fleetingly if David's presence was the harbinger of another epidemic that seemed to be his pattern, and then shrugged off the thought as too fanciful. There was enough time left in the session to explore other lifetimes. I asked David whether he wanted to go to the past or the future. His sadness vanished. Oh, the future. He led me slightly more than 100 years ahead in time. In that light, the quintessential wasp who sat facing me was a rabbi. My name is Ephraim. I'm at a conference with Catholic, Protestant, Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, holistic, and indigenous ministers and healers. We meet frequently 2 or 3 times a week to meditate and pray, creating a harmonious energy to combat the hate and violence endemic to the, to the unenlightened inhabitants of the world. Our numbers are few, no more than 50, but our power is great. Our purpose is to neutralize the earth damaging energies unknowingly, unleashed by those who don't care or don't know about spiritual laws. Those energies create earthquakes, tornadoes, floods, epidemics. We used to think they were random events. Now we believe they're spawned or at least influenced by the thoughts and intentions of humankind, and we can prevent them. Our group goes out to teach others the techniques of the positive prayer and positive meditation that we use. We have thousands of followers. Next month is our fifth ecumenical meeting. I don't know what ecumenical means. Can anyone Google meanwhile? We have thousands of followers. Next month is our fifth ecumenical meeting of over 25,000 who believe as we do. They will bring back our teachings to their own countries across the globe. These conferences transcend physical and psychological boundaries in order to achieve peace, harmony, and compassion for all the inhabitants of the world and for the planet itself. His eyes were sparkling. It's working. We're able to measure positive effects on Earth's climate. The globe is cooling. For the first time in centuries, summers and winters are less severe. Just- Cancer rates have gone down. In one of the regressions, David had alluded to the possibility of thought influencing natural phenomena. Okay, Sonia, thank you so much. I was wondering, I've never heard this term before. Thank you so much. So, ecumenical, Sonia just said, it belongs to the church thing, different churches. Maybe then it represents or it promotes, or maybe something to do with different, maybe different type of church. Maybe these churches are the ones which are not into really um, Jesus. Maybe they're into spirituality more, right? Could be anything. Anyways, thank you so much. So that means, okay, ecumenical church type of meeting, over 25,000 who believe as we do. All right. I was confused. I thought it's something to do with secular because so many religions are there and they're saying our ecumenical meeting. So maybe. Anyways, in one of the regressions, David had alluded to the possibility of thought influencing natural phenomena. In this future, he had apparently mastered the concept and made teaching it his life's work. I've learned how to teach others the way to invoke beings of higher consciousness. He confided in a tone of awe. I thought of Sister Eugene's past life experience. By communicating with a clear and compassionate heart, by seeking a higher spiritual good, we can solicit aid from them. They've already begun to help. The world is a far, far better place now than it was 100 years ago. David's gorgeous vision made me ponder whether the fruits of Ephraim's work will be realized in the actual future of the earth remains unclear. There are multiple futures open to us, some violent, some peaceful, and multiple paths to get to them. Certainly, many other factors beyond his conferences and teachings will determine which becomes the actual one. My own feeling, however, is that the masters will play a role and that we would be wise as David was to listen to them. I learned from many group progressions that several centuries from now on, a large decline in the Earth's population will occur. How this is affected, whether by war, disease, toxins, pole shifts, the Earth's axis is changing. Decline in fertility rate, conscious choice, or in unknown ways yet to be determined. I don't know whether Ephraim's mission succeeded in the end or whether the forces of violence, self interest, greed, and hatred were just too powerful. So, again, ladies, and I'm sorry, people, reflect on this. This book must have been written in 2010 at max, or maybe 15. Actually, should be much before. And in this book, with this prognosis and diagnosis and whatever the thoughts were, they said that there'll be a large decline in the Earth's population. Of course, they're talking about centuries later. But if you see in 2020 to 2022, how many people have lost their lives? Lakhs of people have lost their lives. And that's what they say, that COVID was man-induced, self-interest, greed, which became so powerful that COVID came. So Earth's axis is changing. But again, if we raise our consciousness, we will be far above this lower consciousness. If we start on to invoking the sacred blessings of the higher beings with our love, with the kindness, with the compassion, imagine how the world will become. And I don't know how you all felt when you healed Sunena, but I'm just thinking that what if we start healing so progressively every day, somebody or the other, maybe Sunena will kind of steer us into this because she will need healing for a while. But if any one of you also need healing for somebody, let's start doing that because it gave me a sense of completion in many ways, right? Okay. David was now observing Ephraim's life from a higher and more detached perspective. He seemed to know what I was thinking, whether the coming population decline is caused by traumatic events in a sudden and cataclysmic manner, or whether it is gradual and more gentle in nature. It will be determined by the thoughts and actions of mankind. We all choose the lives we are about to lead. I chose well. Okay, so what you want to know what? कैटेक्लाइज्मिक क्या होता है? ओके, सो कैटेक्लाइज्मिक ये होता है कि जब बहुत बड़े रूप में कुछ क्या व्हाट डू आई से, जैसे कोई वॉर्स होते हैं, कोई वायलेंस के एक्ट्स होते हैं जो एकदम से आ जाते हैं, जैसे एक जैसे इन अ वे आप बोल सकते हो कि वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 हुआ था, 2 हुआ था। सो ये क्या हुआ है कि कुछ बहुत बुरा आया। So that is what it means by इसको एक और cataclysmic, हाँ? So that's what it means. I hope I'm clear. थोड़ा बहुत I could explain to you कि जब हम कुछ ट्रॉमा से गुजरते हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ इंड्यूस कर देते हैं हम लाइफ में, जो एक बहुत अशांति के नीचे ले आता है। व्हाट डू वी कॉल अशांति? नॉन पीसफुल, वायलेंट। That's what it happens, and that's what it becomes. So you want me to read it again? Okay. Whether the coming population decline is caused by traumatic events in sudden and cataclysmic manner, or whether it is gradual and more gentle in nature, will be determined by the thoughts and actions of mankind. We all choose the lives we are about to lead. I chose well and helped others choose correctly too. But were there enough of us? I wonder. I wished I had more time with David to explore his issues further. But he had to go home to his pregnant wife and his family's business. I asked him to keep in touch with me, to let me know how the 3 sessions affected him. But I worried that the environment of comfort and ease in which he lived would seduce him again. That did not happen. The knowledge of past and future lives helped future lives helped David redefine his role in the present. He quit his father's firm and returned to Harvard to study environmental law. He felt he had to oppose the deleterious effects of certain big business practices, many of which his former firm defended, so that he could alter the future for the better. He was especially interested in issues of global warming, the careless accumulation of long lived toxic byproducts of industrial processes, and the resultant extinction of entire species of animals and plants without an understanding of what the absence would do to the balance of nature. At last, David is experiencing meaning and purpose in his life. He's whole, his confusion was resolved, and he's aligned with his destiny. I mean, I can't, I'm overjoyed and in love with this chapter. Isn't this marvelous? He came like sucked out of energy कि सब कुछ है मेरे पास और फिर भी मैं एकदम अशांत हूँ। बिकॉज क्यों होता है डार्क नाइट ऑफ द सोल, क्यों आती है जब हम सोल से अपने सोल पर्पस से भटक जाते हैं? That's why this darkness comes. And 3 sessions with Dr. Brian Weiss, and he's healed. Gosh, I'm going to become a past life regressionist. I have to. I have to add that learning of modality in me. Very intrigued. As David's story shows, spirituality does not reside in the mind alone, but rather in one's entire persona, in the intentions and actions of a life lived well. You can't just think, I'm going to be spiritual from now on. You must also feel it as a consequence of your actions. We live in a community of souls, and we have to perform good deeds within that community. The introspective life is not by itself enough. When we reach out to assist fellow souls along the spiritual paths, we reach a higher level of evolution. Again, I repeat this. The introspective life is not by itself enough. हम introspection करते हैं लाइफ का क्या पर्पस है, क्या मीनिंग है, वो अकेले में enough नहीं है. When we reach out to assist fellow souls along their spiritual paths, we reach a higher level of evolution. Oh my God, I need to be on this path for longer and longer. You all are helping me reach my higher level of evolution. I never even realized that. Thank you, everybody, for giving me that privilege and the opportunity. Love you all so much for this. Thank you so much. David's past and future lifetimes demonstrate this altruistic devotion to loving service among his fellow humans. The more he gave, the more he received. Lives led spiritually like his bring us closer to our divine nature. Seriously, absolutely magical. All right. I am overjoyed with today's session, and I'm very, very, very hopeful that the conversation our souls have had with Sunaina's soul will make a difference. And I've just decided right now that I am going to visit Pune. I'm not, of course, I don't want to be burdened on anybody. So I'm going to Bombay today. And tomorrow, of course, we'll be having session from Bombay. And I'm going to be going tomorrow or day after to Pune. to meet Sunaina, to bless her, to heal her. And with me, I'm going to be carrying the energies of you, Pratima ji, you, Madhuri, Jyoti, you, and Sonia. Right now, I see 5 people only on call, which is very less, but which is so much more. Why? Because 5 is a number of creation and the 5 senses we have. And gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you. The power of 5. Total divine feminine, huh? Working towards a feminine healing. Jyoti, you want to share something? I can see that.
Yesterday, I was really feeling for Sonia. When, as you said, that she had lost her brother and she has such a little child, 13 years old.
Sunena.
I really wish, yes, Sunana.
Yeah.
I really wish she get well soon. My
She will,
blessings
my
with her.
love. She will. I have no doubts about it now. God can, I mean, doctors can say it hanging by a thread, battling, or whatever words, but I believe in the divine healing energy. And we 5 today morning have had such a, I don't know how you felt this morning. I saw Sunena really healing in the morning. With 5 of us around her on that green, beautiful bed of grass, and Mother Earth with us, and the divine golden light with us, and our own pillar of light activated in hers. So Sonia also felt, she's mentioning it. So, when we are working so beautifully and that's the reason I sent her picture. Because until you see her picture and her husband's picture, today I'm going to send a picture with her kids also. So then we'll be very, that compassion, that empathy, that kindness, loving oneness will come for all of us. And she's got to live it, yeah. Mausaji have lost their son. They can't lose her. They can't lose, just have Supriya. Of course, she has a younger sister. But I'm going to meet all of them tomorrow and I'm going to take your energy with me. Day after 9th, I believe in the number 9. And that morning, let's have a very profound healing session. I mostly will be driving to Pune, but let's just conclude this book that day and also heal her. And 10th, I'm going to give you some good news, I'm very sure, when I'm back in Delhi. So thank you, Jyoti. I can see on your face, your name is Jyoti. You're actually a light. And Madhuri, you feel beautiful and grateful. Yes, so do I. And I'm so grateful that all of us here with our love are healing her. And yeah, Pratima ji, you're saying that her heart is palpitating when we heal her. So it's happening. 100% it's happening. Today, after today, I have no doubt. Of course, in the Akashic healing, I've been seeing my ancestors. Sunaina and I have the same line of ancestors from my in-laws. And the day I entered my Akashic records, I just simply asked for Akasha for the grace. And I asked Akasha that, okay, I need my ancestors. And I forgot to mention the Bhoruka ancestors, Agarwal ancestors. And guess what? My mom's Nani side ancestors came. My mom's Dadi side ancestors came. My dad's family's ancestors came. And the entire Bhoruka family, the Agarwal family ancestors came. And there were so many of them healing Sunena. So I know the magic has begun for sure. It began day before night only. But I'm glad yesterday I asked all of you for healing. And I think together we can prove to ourselves that the power of healing is beautiful. And I just realized with this chapter we read on David that we are all working towards our own evolution by healing somebody so beautifully. Like, I have loved Sunena, but she lives in Pune. I live in Delhi with the same age. But the connection I'm having with her after this episode is like as if the soul sister connection. And I've never felt that before. It was just like she's a cousin, you love each other, you live in the same family, and that's about it. But this time, after this has happened, the next level things are happening. Maybe it's there for her soul to learn a lesson, and let's help her soul to make the decision to not quit. So, all our souls and her soul can be in conversation, all our masters. So, I don't know if you all believe in it. हम रोज सुबह अपने मास्टर्स एंजल गार्डियंस को स्पिरिट गाइड्स को थैंक करते हैं ना गुरुज मेंटर्स सो वो सब हैं हमारे साथ चाहे इस अर्थ पे हैं चाहे नहीं है जहां पर भी हैं और जब हम उनको इन्वोक करते हैं वो आते हैं और आज हमने पढ़ा जो इस चैप्टर में मुझे बहुत प्रोफाउंड लगा that there's this beautiful purple energy that comes with golden shoes. So let's tomorrow visualize that beautiful, solid energy, that wisdom in between us, guiding all 5 of us and helping Sunena. Let's tune into energies. Let's see what comes our way. Okay? So thank you, Jyoti, for sharing your.
Prachi, if I
Yes,
can say,
Avanti. Yes.
I have a friend going through similar situation. She's got a brain hemorrhage,
अरे आंटी
45, 46-year-old.
आप
Yes.
उनका
And she's
फोटो
also
भेजिए
in
ना.
Bombay being, yeah, I'll try to look up for the photo and I'll put it across. ठीक
उससे
है?
क्या होता है ना, एक आप बता रहे हैं आपकी फ्रेंड का नाम 45 बॉम्बे
हाँ,
वर्सेस हर पिक्चर. The picture gives
okay.
us a connection. So tomorrow
Definitely.
morning tomorrow
Yeah.
morning onwards, let's heal both these women. They're both similar in age
Yeah.
and both are very close to each other. One is in Pune, one is in Bombay. So let's heal both of them. In fact, once you send me a picture, I'll make
Yeah.
in collage of both the ladies, I'll make a picture frame of both of them so that we can share that on the group so that we can just identify these two women.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll
And
do
you
that.
if you can also find a picture of her family, immediate family, her children
Okay.
and spouse if she has one.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that.
So usse
Yeah.
kya hoता है, we'll intertwine the energies together. So thank
Okay.
you, Fatima auntie, for giving that, another alternate to us for another healing.
Yeah. It'll work.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Lots of love, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You've made me happy. I mean, despite what I'm going through, I'm feeling very positive, very, very inspired, especially with today's chapter. So thank you so much. I'm going to see you tomorrow morning in the morning at 6. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots of love and light. Have a really blessed day, my loved ones. Thank you so much.